Good morning, everyone. We're continuing here in the Beis Halevi's words of AHAVAS YISRAEL. We spoke about this beautiful concept yesterday that the more that you fill up your heart with AHAVAS YISRAEL, loving your fellow Jew, there is no room inside that heart to see the bad in another person. Your heart is filled with goodness, with positivity, with an ayin tova, a good eye that's looking for the good in others, feels the love for others, embraces others, even with their faults, even with their deficiencies, even with their frustrations, the things that bother you. You embrace and you love, then your heart is filled with so much goodness. There is no room for sinas chinam, for the senseless and the baseless hatred to creep inside of there and get you to look at a person in the wrong way. So, based on this, Rav Yisrael Salanter gives a beautiful idea based on a story that happened with him, how it is that we can work and we can increase such a thing. First of all, we know a famous concept by Rav Dessler in the Michtav Eliyahu, that if you want to increase your love for another person, the way to do it is like the word itself means, ahava means have, to give. You have to give and give and give to that person. The more you give, the more that you invest, the more time and energy that you put into someone, the more the nature of the world is, the more you're going to love that person. That's why parents love their children more than the children love their parents. Because parents are the ones that are investing from inception and through the entire life of the children. They're investing time and energy and money and emotions and blood, sweat and tears and everything in between into this child's life. They think about them, they worry about them, they daven for them, they wake up in the middle of the night for them, they change the diapers for the helpless little babies, they hug them, they kiss them, they take them here, they take them there, they invest so much money in them and time and all the effort, everything. And therefore a parent who puts in so much more into a child is always going to love the child more than that selfish child is going to end up loving their parents, even though the children will love their parents, be'ez Hashem. But it's a different type of a love. It's a love that a child is appreciative for all they have received, but not for all that they give to the parents. So Rav Yisrael Salanter was once traveling by train from Salon to Vilna, and he was sitting in those days in what was called the smoking car, which means you were allowed to smoke in particular cars of the train. So he was holding a cigarette, as he's allowed to, and a young man in the car begins complaining loudly that it smells of smoke. And the other passengers there were very surprised that this is the smoking car. If you don't want to be in there, you shouldn't be in there. However, Rav Yisrael Salanter, who was very sensitive to other people, he extinguished his cigarette and he opened the window in order that the fumes would begin to dissipate. A few seconds later, this young irate man who was screaming about the stench and the smell and the smoke, he goes and he closes the window, and then he yelled at Rav Yisrael Salanter, not realizing who it was, for opening the window and bringing in a draft. And the chutzpah itself of this young man was only aimed at Rav Yisrael Salanter, the Gadol Hador. Rav Yisrael Salanter apologized for opening the window, and then he opened up a sefer and he immersed himself in the sefer. When they got to Vilna, and the doors to the train open up, and Rav Yisrael Salanter walks out, there are throngs of people coming to meet him, and he realizes, Ribono Shel Olam, what did I just do? The young man says to himself, I just insulted the Gadol Hador, Rav Yisrael Salanter. How could I have done this? And he comes rushing over to Rav Yisrael Salanter, where Rav Yisrael Salanter was staying, and he said, please, Rebbe, forgive me. I'm so sorry that I treated you in that way. I screamed at you. And Rav Yisrael Salanter says, don't worry. A trip can make a person edgy. I bear no ill feelings toward you. Tell me, he says, why did you come to Vilna? The young man explained that he was coming to Vilna because he wanted to become a shoichet, a ritual slaughter of animals. And he was coming to Vilna to be able to take a test, and if he'd be tested, I'll pass the test, he'll have a good approbation, he'll have a good smicha in shchita, and he'll be able to get a job going back. So Rav Yisrael Salanter says, you know what? My own son-in-law is the Rav of Vilna. Get a good night's sleep. I'll take you in tomorrow, and you'll ask him to test you. So the next day, this young man is taken in to get tested to be a shochet. However, he failed the test miserably, and he didn't pass. He was a terrible shochet. Nevertheless, Rav YISRAEL Salanter was not deterred, and he encouraged the young man, try again. And for the next several weeks, Rav YISRAEL Salanter arranged tutors and prepared the young man to get him ready to pass the test. And he had the test of other well-known Vilna rabbis. And Rav YISRAEL Salanter even arranged for the man to be hired as a shochet. He passed, and he was hired as a shochet because Rav YISRAEL was the one that got him the job. So before leaving Vilna, the man came to Rav YISRAEL Salanter with tears in his eyes and said, tell me, Rebbe. He said, I was able to understand that you could forgive me because I was so arrogant on the train, and I yelled at you, and I screamed at you, and I told you to put out your cigarette and close the window. But you helped me so much. Why did you help me? That I don't understand. And Rav YISRAEL Salanter sat him down, and he held his hand, and he told him, it's easy to say I forgive you, but deep down, how do I know I really forgive you? That I don't bear a grudge? In my heart, I wasn't sure, he said. And the only way to remove the grudge is to take action. Because if you help another person, it develops the love that you have for that person. By helping you create true love. And it's overwhelmingly more powerful than the words, I forgive you. And therefore, says Rav Dessler and says Rav YISRAEL Salanter over here, that if you want to foster the feelings of AHAVAS YISRAEL inside your heart, especially if you find someone that you maybe don't like so much and you're having a hard time fulfilling this mitzvah, give to that person. Give them what they need. Take care of them. Send them gifts. Give them compliments. Help them out in their life. The more that you will give, the more you will train yourself to love them. Your heart's going to get filled up once again with this feeling of ava, of love. And then you'll fulfill the mitzvah of v'ahavta l'recha kamecha, to love your fellow Jew the way that you love yourself. Have a wonderful day.